Well, hello, Lupus Warriors, and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy that you decided to stop by my channel and to listen to another video. And I'm so happy to be here with you on today. And I hope that this video finds you doing very well. Okay? And so, for those of you that know me, that you've been with me for a while, you know that I created this channel in order to bring about awareness, to educate, and to encourage lupus warriors like you and lupus warriors like me. But I created this channel also for non-lupus warriors, anyone who care and has concern for the welfare of lupus patients, anyone who wants to see a cure in the medical field for lupus patients. This channel is for you as well. Also, this channel is a place in which it's a community that we can talk about hard things, difficult things, um, the difficulties and the ups and downs of living with lupus on a day-to-day basis. And it's a safe place. There's nothing like a safe place to talk about difficult, hard things. But on this channel, we can talk about the hard things without fear of criticism and without fear of judgment. Okay, we can be upfront, close, and personal, and we can keep it real with one another about what it's like to deal with lupus on a daily basis. Okay? And so on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about lupus facts. And these facts are very important because what's on this list, the 11 things that I have on this list are stressors that you could be sensitive to that could be making you feel sick as a lupus warrior. Okay? These are stressors that could cause you to have a progression in your flares. It could cause you to have an increase in how often you have a flare. And also, it could just make you feel overall, just have a feeling of, feeling ill just from coming in contact with these stressors. Okay? And so, before I get into the video, let me ask you that if you enjoy the content, please just take a moment just to hit that subscribe button. And then number two, hit the like button if you enjoy it. And then number three, share the information so that it can get out into the lupus community, so it can get out into the world and bring this disease called lupus up front and personal and put it at the forefront of the medical community and at the forefront of the community of what's going on in this world. Okay? So I have 11 stressors that if we can, we need to avoid at all costs because these stressors could be making you sick. And the first one on the list, the first one is tobacco, cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke can impact a lupus warrior in so many different ways. So, my advice to you is to avoid cigarette smoke at all costs. If you are around someone that's smoking, politely move away from them. If you have friends or relatives that come over to your house and they smoke, politely ask them, can you please smoke outside? There's no smoking allowed inside of my house. You know, we have to be in tune with our body. And the less that we as lupus warriors expose ourselves to environmental stressors, um, that can help, it can benefit us medically in so many ways. You know, there are some things we just can't avoid, but exposing yourself to unwarranted, unneeded stressors, that's a no-no. Who wants to have who wants to increase their lupus flares, the amount of flares that they have? Or who wants their lupus flare to go from mild to moderate to severe? Okay? Who wants to feel sick? We're already dealing with enough as lupus warriors. And so adding this to the list, it only aggravates our lupus symptoms. Number two on the list is ultraviolet light. And this is why sometimes when we go out into the sun, we can come back and, it's like, I didn't feel good being out in the sun too long. That's why we wear the hats and we wear sunscreen, and we wear long sleeves and shades because the light from the sun can make us feel sick. Also, did you know this? That there can also be ultraviolet lights or UVB rays coming from the light bulbs that's inside of your house or in your job. So, if you find that when you're going to work that you're feeling ill on a regular basis, or when you're at work your symptoms are feeling worse, it could be in the light bulbs that's over your head. Number three on the list, did you know this? That pollution, whether air or chemical, can impact your lupus symptoms in a negative way. Number four on the list is changes in weather patterns. As you know, for example, if it gets too cold, in which it falls below 40 degrees, this can impact and aggravate your lupus symptoms, especially for those who have an overlapping disease with their lupus called Raynaud's phenomenon or Raynaud's disease. And this is where the insides of the hands and the feet turn from like this nice fleshy color to white to blue. And you can also experience a lot of pain depending on how long one of these Raynaud's episodes, how long they last. Also, with changes in the weather, when it gets too hot, especially when it's high humidity or too low humidity, it can impact your lupus symptoms. Number five on the list. Did you know that heavy vibrations, the stressor of heavy vibrations, could be making you feel sick? And vibrations, what I mean by that, vibrations from the speakers, loudspeakers, or vibrations from trucking or tractor equipment, or different equipment that's being used, construction equipment, that can impact or aggravate the symptoms of a lupus warrior. Number six. Now this is one that I put a star by, and this one is the section on certain medications. Okay, and especially be aware of medications where it's known to induce lupus symptoms. Be careful with the steroids, and as lupus patients, we've all had our share of steroids, and steroids are great for calming down lupus symptoms and bringing our body back under control. But the side effects of steroids can impact your sleep. It can also create the moon face or weight gain. And then when the steroids are stopped or the dosage is decreased, then everything goes back to normal. But be careful with that. I know that we have to take steroids sometimes, but this is just some of the side effects of a steroid, of taking steroids. It can impact your sleep quality, cause a moon face, cause weight gain, and there are other side effects from taking steroids. Okay, so just be careful with that. Under the section of medications also is antibiotics. You know, if you're taking an antibiotic and your first time taking it, you have a severe reaction, you have some sort of an adverse reaction, or the side effects or something that you just can't deal with, make sure to call your family physician about that. And they can always stop the antibiotic and change it to something else. For example, just to be up close and personal with me, at one point my doctor had prescribed me Bactrim, and I had a bad reaction to Bactrim. My face, I woke up one day and my face was swollen really bad. And so I called her right away, and she was like, no, we're going to have to take you off of that. And so, that was put on my medication chart as me being allergic to Bactrim. Okay. Under the section of medications is over the counter medications. This is really a big one. We have to be careful because certain over the counter medications can impact your lupus, in a negative way. It can also interact with lupus medications that you're already taking. So make sure that before you take any type of over the counter medication, nutritional supplement, vitamin, herbs, or anything like that, any type of natural medicines, make sure that you talk it over with your doctor first before taking it. And also, last but not least, under the section of medications is vaccines. And vaccines are good for us, and we've been taking vaccines for years. But make sure that before you before you decide to take any vaccine, that you have a thorough discussion with your doctor. And it's the ingredients inside of that vaccine that can negatively impact or aggravate your lupus symptoms. And by discussing it with your doctor can advise you as far as whether to move forward with taking the vaccine. You know, what they look at is if the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the risk. But if the doctor decides that the risk is too risky, the risk is higher than the benefits, then they may advise against you taking or receiving the vaccine. So always make sure that you talk it over with a medical profession before you take any vaccine, and be aware of the ingredients that's inside of that vaccine. Number 7 on the list of stressors that we could be sensitive to that could be making us sick is environmental stressors. And we can't escape our environment. Wherever we go, we're going into an environment, whether it's on the job, whether it's in our home, whether it's outside. There are things, particles, dust, there are things going on in the environment, but these things can aggravate um, your lupus symptoms, or if you have allergies to certain things in the air, this can aggravate existing allergies, which can also aggravate your lupus symptoms. Number 8 on the list, and this is also a very important one, um, that could be making you sick, is food sensitivities. I can't stress the importance of knowing, the ingredients that's in a meal, how it was prepared, what other foods it was prepared next to, such as oils. What oil was it cooked in? What other foods were cooked in the very same oil? What's contained in the ingredients in this meal? This is something that we need to be aware of if you're going to be dining out, or if you're going to be going to a buffet or some sort of a function, at a school function, some sort of, where there's a big meal being prepared for a lot of people, or a lot of people are bringing over, meals. You need to know what's in those meals. You need to be aware of what things you are allergic to. As lupus patients, we have to become very in tune with our bodies. Our bodies were made to let us know what's going on. Our bodies give us signals when something is not right, or when it's something is out of whack, or something is not, your body is not in agreement with something. And so just be very aware of food sensitivities, okay? Number 9 on the list, that could be making you sick, that could be causing you to have a lupus flare, and that's pain. You know, everyone has a different pain tolerance. Some people, their pain tolerance is higher than others, but any type of pain that you experience inside of your body, it can impact your lupus. It can impact your lupus flare. Pain can impact anything that's going on in your body, and it can exacerbate a condition and make that condition worse. And unfortunately, lupus is one of those conditions that it can exacerbate the symptoms and make them worse. Number 10 on the list, um, and this includes injuries, illness, or infections. And when I speak of illness or infections, I'm referring to viruses, bacteria, um, such as the cold or flu, um, you know, uh, any type of infection, strep throat, bronchitis, anything. This can impact your lupus symptoms in a negative way. And when it refers to injuries, when I'm referring to injuries, that's, any type of a sprain or strain, broken bones, cuts or sores. Injuries can impact your lupus symptoms in a negative way. You know, all of this can make you feel ill or make you feel sick. And last but not least on the list is stress. And in today's world, or at any time in life, it's very hard to avoid stress. you know. And some people say there's a such thing as good stress and then there's bad stress. But any type of stress, especially the bad stress, especially the stress that leaves you feeling, depressed or anxious, or, puts you in a fight or flight mode. Um, Anything, emotionally, mentally, or physically, in which it causes your heart to race or your pulse to pound. um, this is negatively impacting your lupus. Stress and lupus just does not go together at all. Can we avoid stress? No. As long as we live, we're always going to experience some type of stress. But as a lupus patient, stress can make you feel worse. Stress can make you feel ill. Stress can lead to a flare. And so we need to find ways to calm down, to de stress, to not allow things in our lives to escalate out of control. If we need to talk to someone, we need to do that. Anything to de stress and alleviate a stressful situation. So, um, I wanted to bring this Lupus Facts video to you today. Normally I do these on Tuesday, but there was a lot going on Tuesday, so I promised you guys that I would make the video today. Um, and so remember that there is life after lupus. I don't want the video to be too long. And just remember that sensitivity to any of these stressors could be making you sick. And the 11 stressors that I named was tobacco, number one, ultraviolet light, pollution, changes in weather, heavy vibrations, certain medications, environmental stressors, food sensitivities, pain, injuries, illness, and infections, and then last but not least is stress. And so I'm going to wrap the video up at this time. Remember, there is life after lupus. I don't know if I said that already, but okay, I said it again. Um, and you guys, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Try to stay as healthy as possible. Stay encouraged and stay strong. And I will talk to you again soon on the next video. Bye for now, everybody.